Across the cold stars, the Galactic Council gathered in a great hall of glass and silver. Floating high above a dying sun, dozens of alien species filled the chamber, their voices sharp with arrogance on the center display. A small blue planet spun slowly in the dark. Earth. "Look at it!" hissed Admiral Krylek of the Jari Empire, his scaled mouth curling in mockery. "No defense satellites, no visible fleets, no planetary shields," he laughed. "It's a farming world pretending to be civilized." Around him, other alien leaders joined the laughter, their voices echoing across the hall like cruel bells. To them, Earth was nothing, a forgotten corner of the galaxy, isolated, weak, and unaware of what real power meant. Their fleets had already conquered 14 worlds this cycle, each one falling without challenge. They believed Earth would be the same. The Jari Empire led the attack, sending a fleet of 2,000 warships, each the size of a city. The ships glowed red like dying stars as they entered the solar system. From orbit, they scanned the blue planet, confused to find only silence. "No fleets, no weapons, no radio traffic. Are they sleeping?" sneered one of the commanders. "Maybe they don't even know we're here," laughed another. Krylek grinned. "Then let us wake them." He raised his clawed hand, and the order was given: fire. The first plasma volleys cut through the black of space, burning through the thin layer of satellites that circled Earth. Thousands of glowing fragments fell through the sky like shooting stars. The alien fleet celebrated. See, not even a shield flare, no resistance at all. But on the dark side of the planet, hidden deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, something ancient stirred. In a chamber filled with human engineers and soldiers, alarms flashed red. A single console blinked awake for the first time in 100 years. "Protocol Dawnfire, activation confirmed," said a calm voice. No one in the chamber spoke. They only looked at the old screen with fear and awe. The man in charge, General Hart, whispered, "So it begins, far above." The alien fleet continued to laugh. "Where is their army? Where is their fleet?" One shouted. "They send no response." "Do they surrender already?" Krylek smiled. "No, my friend, they don't surrender. They just die quietly." On Earth, the people looked to the skies and saw strange lights crossing the clouds. The news channels broadcast strange signals, and scientists tried to warn the world. But before any panic could begin, all transmissions stopped. Every human communication went silent at once. Across the planet, in secret bunkers and underground bases, Earth's leaders vanished from the public eye. Every system went offline. Power grids, satellites, even navigation networks. To the aliens, it looked like chaos. To humanity, it was preparation. Krylek stood on the command bridge, watching the planet spin below. "Finish this," he ordered. "Prepare to burn their cities." "Let's make it quick," the crew obeyed, aiming plasma cannons at the surface. But just before the order to fire, every alien monitor flickered. A human face appeared. Calm, serious, emotionless, it spoke a single sentence: "Stand by for retaliation." The alien commander stared in confusion. What was that? How did they access our comms? Krylek snarled. "Trace it." But before the signal could be tracked, every ship's sensor filled with static. From deep below the ocean, massive tremors shook the sea. A column of water exploded upward. Rising higher than mountains, something was moving beneath. Something that had been sleeping for generations, Admiral. "We're detecting enormous energy readings from beneath the ocean," shouted the alien science officer. Krylek's eyes narrowed. "What kind of energy?" The officer hesitated. "Unknown, sir. The scale is impossible." The screens filled with blue light. Magnetic storms scrambled every sensor. And then, through the haze of static and fire, they saw it, a single shape rising from the water. Black and smooth. No windows, no engines visible. It wasn't like any ship they had ever seen. It didn't reflect light. It devoured it. Krylek stepped closer to the screen. "What in the void is that?" No one answered, because at that moment, every ship in the Jari fleet lost contact. Earth's oceans calmed again. But something had changed. A silent storm was coming. A power no one in the galaxy believed could exist on a weak world. And as the alien fleet tried to understand what they had just witnessed, one human voice spoke across every frequency once more. Calm, cold, and clear. "You wanted to see Earth's defenses. Now you will." Silence followed. Then the alien laughter stopped, because for the first time in galactic history, they were afraid of a human planet. The ocean was still, yet deep below its surface ancient machines began to breathe. Lights flickered through the dark water like awakening eyes. For centuries they had slept, silent guardians buried beneath the waves, waiting for one signal. Protocol Dawnfire. On the command bridge of the Zari flagship, confusion replaced arrogance. "Admiral, we are losing sensors across the lower hemisphere," shouted a young officer. "Shields are fluctuating, plasma readings unstable." Krilik's claws tapped the console in anger. How can a primitive world do this? No one answered, because even the strongest scanners showed only static. Then, for a single second, something appeared. A dark outline rising from the sea, bigger than any warship they had ever built. And then it vanished again, swallowed by interference. In the control chamber under the Pacific, General Hart stood before a giant screen glowing red. "Status?" he asked quietly. "Dawnfire units are online, sir," replied the operator. "Energy cores at 80%. Weapon locks active." Hart nodded. "Keep it quiet. Let them think we are still blind." On the surface, the world seemed peaceful. Cities were dark, skies filled with debris, communication gone, but beneath the silence, a rhythm pulsed. Earth was preparing. Old bunkers opened, soldiers moved in shadows, and satellites once thought dead began to orbit again, each one feeding data into a single system deep below the sea. The Arc Core. Far above, alien fleets circled like vultures. "They're hiding, Admiral," one commander laughed. "Maybe they fled underground." Kralek smirked. "Then we burn their hiding place." He raised his hand, giving the order, "All ships, prepare for orbital fire." But before their cannons could charge, their entire network went dark. No lights, no engines, no guidance, only silence. Panic spread. "Sir, we lost power control." "Something is jamming us." Kralek's eyes widened. "Impossible! No one has that kind of range." Then across every alien ship the same human voice returned. "This is Earth Command. You crossed a line you don't understand." The bridge lights flickered blue. Every alien turned toward the sound. That calm voice continued. "You thought peace meant weakness. You thought silence meant fear. Now learn what it truly means." In orbit, the darkness tore apart. From the shadow of Earth's night side, a massive object emerged, sleek, black, without markings. It moved without engines, gliding like a ghost. Alien sensors tried to measure its mass but failed. Their readings broke into nonsense, one officer whispered, trembling. "It's bending light itself." Another stuttered. "It's not reflecting radar. It's eating it." Kralek stood frozen. "That is not possible," he muttered. And yet, there it was. Humanity's hidden warship, a legend that no one believed was real. The UNS Nemesis, built before the Galactic Council even knew Earth existed. Powered by technology humans swore never to use. It had slept in the ocean for 100 years, waiting for the one moment it was needed. Its surface shimmered like liquid night. Then, the void split open with soundless thunder. Beams of white light lanced out faster than plasma. They didn't explode, they erased. The first Jari destroyer simply vanished. No debris, no flame, just gone. "Admiral, we're losing ships, multiple, no warning shots, no readings." Kralek's voice shook for the first time. "Retreat, full retreat." But it was too late. The human warship had already locked onto every enemy in orbit. Each second a beam fired, silent, cold, final. It didn't just destroy ships. It erased their existence from the universe on Earth. General Hart watched from the command room. "Confirm target elimination," he ordered. "Target's disintegrating," replied the operator. 0 survivors detected. Hart closed his eyes for a moment, whispering, "God forgive us." In the Galactic Council Hall, far away, reports poured in. The mighty Jari Empire's fleet, gone. Erased in minutes, no survivors, no signal. Only static where once 2,000 ships had been. Whispers filled the hall. Earth. Destroyed them all. Impossible. They were primitives. But the evidence was clear. The recording from the last Jari ship showed one last image. A dark human ship hovering over the blue planet. And a final transmission: "Do not test Earth again." Back on the Nemesis, human crews worked in silence, no cheering, no joy. They knew what they had unleashed, the weapon that was never meant to be used again. Project Dawnfire. As the smoke faded from orbit, Earth's skies cleared. The planet looked calm once more, as if nothing had happened. But the galaxy now watched with fear. They realized something terrible. Humanity had never been unarmed, only patient. And patience, when broken, was deadlier than any empire. The galaxy trembled. News of the Jari fleet's destruction spread faster than light. Entire empires stopped their transmissions mid-sentence. 2,000 warships erased in minutes. No wrecks, no escape pods. Only silence around the blue planet called Earth. In the council hall, disbelief turned to fear. How can a death world hide such power? Whispered a Kaloran elder. A younger envoy replied, voice shaking. They weren't hiding it. They were waiting. Back on Earth, the oceans were calm again. The Nemesis hovered above the clouds, motionless. Its black surface rippled like liquid night. Lightning danced around its hull, bending away from it as if afraid to touch. Inside, every console glowed blue. Humans spoke in low voices, their faces pale but steady. General Hart stood at the command core, staring at the feet of wrecked debris vanishing into the atmosphere. "How many survivors?" he asked. "None, sir," came the answer. Hart exhaled slowly. "Then they'll send more." He was right. In the void beyond Pluto, space rippled. Thousands of new signatures appeared. The Grand Armada of the Jari Empire, 5 times larger than the first invasion. Every ship carried planet burners and shield arrays strong enough to crack moons. This was not a test anymore. This was vengeance. "Admiral Krelek is dead," said the alien broadcast. "But his empire is not. Earth will burn." The message echoed across every human frequency, every radio, every satellite, even the old shortwave bands. Then it ended with mocking laughter. Earth remained silent. No panic, no reply, only preparation. Deep beneath Nevada, engineers reactivated launch silos sealed for a century. In Antarctica, black domes rose from the ice. In orbit, the Nemesis received one simple command from Earth Command: hold the line. As the alien armada entered orbit, their plasma storms lit the darkness, turning night into blinding orange. Cities far below saw the sky burn like sunrise at midnight. Children stared upward, thinking it was the end of the world. But humanity had already accepted the cost. They would not bow again. On the Nemesis, the crew worked without fear. The captain, an older man with cold eyes, stood before the viewing screen. "Lock all targets," he said quietly. "Prepare the singularity core." A tremor passed through the ship. The air itself seemed to thicken. Outside, the black hull began to glow faint blue. Not from light, but from distortion. Space twisted around the ship as if the universe was folding inward. "Sir, they're firing," shouted an officer. Hundreds of plasma bolts streaked through orbit, each one capable of melting a continent. They hit the Nemesis head-on. Nothing happened. The bolts vanished before impact, absorbed by the gravity veil. The alien fleet froze, their sensors reporting impossible numbers. Energy absorption beyond scale. Gravitational inversion detected. The captain gave a small nod. Return fire. The Nemesis fired no cannons, no missiles. Instead, thin beams of pale light traced silently across the void. Where they passed, space itself cracked. Alien ships split apart without flame or sound. Their matter sliced clean by forces older than physics. The sky filled with light, each beam a quiet judgment from humanity. For every shot fired, 100 ships vanished. The alien admirals screamed commands, "Scatter! Break formation!" But it was too late. Human targeting arrays predicted every move before it happened. Then came the final act. The Nemesis opened its lower hull. A sphere of white energy pulsed, growing brighter with every heartbeat. Inside the ship, alarms blared. The captain whispered, "For Earth." The singularity core released. A wave of compressed gravity expanded like a breath. No explosion, no noise. Just darkness. When the light faded, the alien fleet was gone. The sensors read nothing, no heat, no fragments, not even dust. They hadn't been destroyed. They had been erased. From the galactic edge to the central world, silence followed. No one spoke of invasion anymore. The name Earth carried a new meaning, a warning. In the ruins of the council chamber, an elder finally said, "If that is what they call defense, may the stars protect us if they ever decide to attack." Above the blue planet, the Nemesis turned slowly toward the sun, its hull still shimmering with the power it had released. General Hart's voice echoed through the command deck. "Status report." "All targets neutralized," said the officer. "Enemy presence 0. Hart looked out through the viewing glass, watching the clouds part over Earth. He spoke softly. "They thought we were asleep. They thought our silence was fear, but it was patience. And patience has no mercy." The bridge fell quiet. No one cheered. No one smiled. They all knew the truth. The galaxy would never forget this night. The sky had ignited, and humanity had become the fire. The galaxy was silent. Not peaceful, silent with fear. For the first time in centuries, no empire dared to move its fleets. Trade routes froze. War signals went unanswered. Everyone waited, listening to the empty channels that once echoed with arrogance. The Jari Empire was gone, their home world showing only static on long-range scans. 2,000 ships, then 10,000 more, erased. No one understood how. No one wanted to ask. In the heart of the Galactic Council, chaos erupted. Ambassadors shouted over one another, voices trembling. "They used forbidden weapons," cried one. "No, they used something worse, human weapons," whispered another. The Council had always believed Earth was primitive, a quiet backwater full of emotion and chaos. But now they spoke the name humanity like it was a curse. The very word carried weight, like the memory of a predator the galaxy forgot existed. High above the council chamber, the Chancellor of the Core Dominion slammed his fist onto the table. "Are we to bow to them? One planet?" An older being beside him murmured. "One planet that erased an empire in minutes." Silence. Even the air felt heavy. Meanwhile, at the edge of the solar system, the human warship Nemesis drifted quietly through the void. It had not moved since the battle. No transmissions. No signals. Only quiet monitoring, as if watching, waiting. Inside, General Hart stood alone on the bridge. The stars glowed softly against the glass. He stared at the long-range scans. No enemies, no movement. "Any response from the Council?" he asked. "None, sir," said the communications officer. "They've gone dark?" Hart nodded slowly. "They're afraid." "Good. Let them think." On Earth, humanity celebrated in silence. There were no parades, no victory songs. The people knew what they had done was not victory, it was a warning. They had shown the galaxy the cost of arrogance. But deep in space, something stirred again. A fleet not from the Council, not from the Jari, but from the dominion of 9 suns, an ancient power that ruled from the galactic rim, silent for thousands of years. Their ships were built from living metal, their reactors fueled by captured stars. When their sensors replayed Earth's destruction of the Jari, their supreme admiral whispered, "Humans wield gravity itself. We must know how." So they sent observation drones, small and fast, invisible to most sensors, to orbit Earth in secret. They thought they were unseen. They were wrong. Inside the Nemesis, a low alarm pulsed. "Captain," said the operator, "we've detected foreign probes in low orbit." Hart turned his head slightly. "How many?" "7, sir. Scanning our defense grid." Hart smiled faintly. "They still don't learn." He pressed a control on the armrest. "Activate mirror defense." Seconds later, the probes vanished from existence. Not destroyed, reflected, their own signals bounced back with lethal precision. Across the Dominion, every probe operator screamed as their screens turned to light, then to black. The message was clear. Earth knew. Earth watched. In the Council, panic grew. "What do we do?" cried the Raylor envoy, his silver skin shaking. "They can erase fleets. They can see across systems." The Chancellor replied coldly, "We do nothing. We don't speak to them. We don't provoke them. We don't even mention them." He paused, lowering his voice. "Pray they never come here." But one race didn't listen. The Valari Syndicate, known for scavenging dead war zones. Their ships crept into the ruins of Jari space, hoping to salvage human technology from the wreckage. What they found instead was terrifying. Every floating fragment of metal carried a faint symbol, the mark of Earth's Defense Command. When the scavengers tried to touch it, their ships disintegrated, as if reality itself rejected their presence. The only message their distress signal carried back was a single human phrase: "Do not disturb the ashes." From that day, no one dared enter the sector again. The galaxy began calling it the Silent Expanse, a region of stars where even light seemed slower, as if fear itself lived there. Back on Earth in the Deep Ocean Command Base, General Hart received a private transmission. It wasn't from the Council. It was from someone older. A human voice, calm and distant, spoke. "You did well. The Nemesis performed as designed. But the Council won't stay quiet forever. Prepare Phase 2. Hart's eyes narrowed. He didn't ask who it was. He only said, "Understood." As the transmission ended, the lights in the command room flickered, and far beneath the ocean floor, another sealed chamber began to open. Its door marked with two words only a few still remembered: Project Revenant. Humanity's defense had ended. Now began its ascension. The stars no longer looked the same. Across the galaxy, entire empires had gone quiet. Every fleet, every world, every ruler, they all whispered one word in fear: Earth. But no one dared to speak it aloud. The Jari Empire was gone. The dominion of 9 suns was silent, and the council that once ruled the stars now sat in trembling silence, their once mighty banners hanging like ghosts over an empty chamber. In the dark void beyond Jupiter, the Nemesis remained still. It had not moved since the last battle, its black surface absorbing the light of the distant sun. No beacons, no messages, no movement, just waiting. Inside, General Hart stood alone on the bridge, watching silent holograms of the galaxy's response. Fear was spreading faster than war ever could. "Sir," said the communications officer, breaking the silence, "we are receiving over 1,000 encoded messages from different worlds. Some are surrender signals, others, pleas for alliance." Hart didn't answer. His eyes remained fixed on the stars. He finally whispered, "They laughed at us. Now they pray to us." Far below, in the command chambers beneath the Pacific, Earth's leaders gathered once more. They were not the same people who had built armies and fleets. They were quiet, older, heavier with the knowledge of what they had unleashed. A holographic map glowed in the center of the room. The entire Milky Way, now marked by zones of silence. The once busy trade routes of the council were nothing but dark lines. "Project Revenant is ready," said a voice in the shadows. The figure stepped forward. A woman, tall, calm, her uniform unmarked by rank. "The galaxy has seen our defense," she said softly. "Now they will see our intention." General Hart looked at her. "Are you sure they're ready to hear it?" She smiled faintly. "It's not for them to be ready. It's for them to remember." Moments later, across the galaxy, every communication channel lit up at once. Every planet, every moon, every ship, no matter the distance, their screens flickered with static. And then a human face appeared. Her eyes were calm, her voice clear. But behind her words was a power that made even the bravest rulers tremble. "To the civilizations of the galaxy," she began, "this is Earth Command. You thought our silence was weakness. You thought our peace meant fear. You were wrong." The chamber fell silent across 1,000 worlds. For centuries, humanity chose isolation. We built in silence. We watched your wars, your conquests, your cruelty. We learned from them. We prepared for them. And when you came for us, we did not hide, we endured. Images flashed behind her. The burning fleets of the Jari, the collapsing suns of the Dominion, the Nemesis drifting like death itself through the ruins of arrogance. You called us primitives. You laughed at our small blue world. But you forgot something. She leaned closer to the camera, her tone sharper, colder, every word cutting through the galaxy like a blade. Humans were born in the fire of chaos. We survived our own wars, our own extinction, our own mistakes. You cannot scare what has already lived through hell. All across the galaxy, leaders stood frozen before their screens. Even machines paused their calculations. "We did not destroy you because we hate you," she continued. "We destroyed those who forced us to remember what we are. If you wish for peace, keep it. But if you come again for Earth, then you will not find a planet. You will find judgment." The message ended. For a long moment, the galaxy stayed completely still. Then, one by one, communication channels shut down. Not from jamming, but from reverence. No one dared to reply. No one dared to test the warning. Back in the Pacific Command Chamber, the lights dimmed. The woman turned to Hart. "It's done," she said. He nodded. "And now?" She looked upward, her eyes distant. "Now, we rest, until they forget again." On the surface, sunlight broke through the clouds over the ocean. The world looked peaceful, almost ordinary. Children played, unaware of the terror that now gripped the stars. But high above, the Nemesis drifted silently, guarding the planet like a shadow carved from fear itself. It carried no banners, no victory mark, only a single phrase carved into its hull: "Never mistake peace for weakness. The galaxy would remember that message for thousands of years. And whenever a new empire rose and looked toward the small blue planet, they would stop and whisper the same words every fleet commander now knew by heart. Do not test Earth, because the sky that once looked so gentle had already burned once. And if humanity ever woke again, the stars themselves would tremble.